Teaching English Radio India.
A radio series for teachers of English.
Brought to you by the British Council.
Hello and welcome to another program in our series for teachers of English. I'm Manisha Dag and I'm a teacher and a trainer. As usual, I'll be bringing to you the ideas of teachers from all over India. And here are some of the teachers we'll be meeting today.
Hello, I'm Kuheli from West Bengal.
My name is Deena. I'm from Madikeri in Karnataka.
I'm Jitendra from Anand.
Hi, I'm Shefali from Trivandrum, Kerala.
I am Dharmendra from Surat.
The topic of today's program is how teachers can improve their own English. And this is something I hope everyone listening might find interesting.
The first challenge that the teachers face is that they are not very confident in their fluency in English.
Does this situation seem familiar to you?
They do not have much exposure, and at times they do not have any exposure at all. So as a result, when we ask the teachers to transact the class in English, it is very difficult for them.
While working in remote areas, I came across teachers there who would work in villages which were pretty far off. The general observation goes that most of the teachers are not able to speak fluently themselves, and they have to grapple with this problem of teaching in English, which probably they themselves never learned because most of them come from the same areas. They went to vernacular schools.
Many teachers work in remote areas and they have not had much opportunity to learn English well. Because they're not used to speaking in English, they're not very fluent or confident.
So because they didn't go to an English medium school or they didn't have access to better resources, they find themselves disadvantaged when they become teachers.
We've just heard the opinions of two teacher trainers, Kuheli and Jitendra. But teachers from all over India have talked to us about similar challenges. So what are these challenges? Well, first, teachers need more exposure to English to improve and develop their knowledge. And second, they need more confidence so that they're able to use the English they know every day in their classroom. Our question today is, what can we do ourselves to solve this problem? For a planned approach, we spoke to Dharmendra. He works with the Association of English Teachers of India and has a lot of suggestions for self-help. Listen.
So normally I have seen that many teachers, they know that their English is poor, they want to improve their English, they really work hard, but sometimes they don't get good results because probably their method of working was not proper. So what I suggest is they should work on all the 7 important areas of language.
So what does he mean by a proper method? And what are these 7 areas of language? Let's hear the first 4.
The first is listening. Because normally listening to your teacher is not enough. So whatever you listen to in your classroom so far during your study, that's not enough. You have to listen to authentic material. So I strongly suggest that teachers listen to English programs. Number 2, speaking. Very often, even in the classroom, teachers generally use their local language. They think that students will not be able to understand, and that's why we use vernacular language. But actually, it should not be like that. Because if they speak more, then only they will be confident and their speaking competence will improve and they'll become better users of language.
Okay, that's listening and speaking. What is the third on his list?
Then reading. Teachers don't read enough. And I'm not talking about textbook or grammar books, but apart from that, whatever general literature is available, even popular literature. So listening, speaking, reading, then writing. When it comes to writing, most teachers will avoid writing. It's not just students, but even teachers avoid writing. So probably writing their own diaries will be a good idea.
I'm going to stop Dharmendra there. Let's look again at these first 4 suggestions. He's talking about improving listening, speaking, reading, and then writing. What we often call the 4 skills. We teach these 4 skills to our students, so we should also keep improving our own abilities in these same areas. I suggest that first you make a list of what's available to you where you live and work. What can you listen to or watch or read? English is one of the languages that is both spoken and broadcast in our country. So you should be able to find lots of different sources: TV, radio, magazines, books, and it could even be fun. Here is Jitendra's suggestion.
For me, mobile is the best tool for developing all your language skills. And you can use it anytime, anywhere, and you don't need to take time out of your busy schedule. Mobile is quite entertaining. They can watch a good English video on it. I'm sure if they watch that movie, they learn some words, or at least some accent, some good pronunciation. Make your learning fun. You would like your students to enjoy your class, why not enjoy yourself?
And if you're able to get onto the internet, even occasionally, that's full of opportunities to listen to recordings in English or find things to read. Next, we need to practice speaking regularly. Dharmendra said, generally, teachers use their local language. They should use English. Let's agree that all teachers of English should try speaking English as much as possible, in and out of the classroom. And then it will only get better. In our next program, we'll look at using English in the classroom with our students, so don't miss it. Shefali has an idea that combines reading and speaking aloud, and it's something we can do without the fear of anyone listening.
So one thing we ask all our teachers to do is to open a newspaper and just read it out loudly. And that helps them. They practice the words there. They speak out loudly. They're reading it out and enjoying themselves. And there is no one else to embarrass them around. So that's one good way to learn the language.
Reading is certainly something we can all do more of. Whatever our abilities in English, it is always really helpful to do more reading, to increase our knowledge about the world and to get more used to how language is used and which words go together naturally. Remember, you don't need to be alone. Find a reading friend or group of fellow teachers and meet up once a week to talk about the things you're reading. Now let's go on to writing. Dharmendra's suggestion is that teachers should keep a diary. Well, that's a brilliant idea. It means you get into the habit of writing something regularly, every day.
You're listening to Teaching English Radio India, a series for teachers of English, brought to you by the British Council.
We have now discussed 1 to 4 of the 7 areas for improving our English competence. But Dharmendra has some more ideas, so let's hear numbers 5, 6 and 7. See if you agree with him.
So listening, speaking, reading, writing. Next comes vocabulary. Because most non-native learners of English, one of the biggest hurdles that they face is poor vocabulary. And there are hundreds of ways of improving vocabulary. So they should try some of these. Then the next is grammar. Grammar is not just something to read and study. We have to think about grammar in use. And the last point is pronunciation. Because everyone will have MTI, mother tongue influence. So if they consciously make an attempt to remove those MTI, mother tongue influences, then probably they will enjoy learning English.
So what Dharmendra suggests is that teachers should work on vocabulary, work on grammar in use, and try to improve our pronunciation, particularly being aware of mother tongue influences. Reading is a real help when we want to improve our vocabulary. It makes us aware of which words go together. But using a good dictionary and keeping a vocabulary notebook is also a good idea. And what about grammar in practice? Again, reading along with studying a grammar book can help with this. Teacher and trainer Deena says that she is often asked for advice on how teachers can improve their pronunciation. Let's hear what she tells them.
Many teachers come to me asking how they can improve their own pronunciation. I do suggest some self-help books that they can use, which come along with CDs as well. Take opportunities to probably attend English-speaking classes and also to listen to TV programs and also to speak to each other in English, because the only way one gets better at speaking a language is actually practicing on an everyday basis, which many teachers tell me they don't really do. They speak English only in their classes but not outside of class. Once they've started conversing or speaking to each other in English, they seem to have improved their own English skills.
Deena says that teachers need to speak to each other regularly. And this really works. But don't feel that you have to have absolutely perfect accuracy.
Perfect pronunciation, accuracy, and perfect English is not necessary. What is more important is your ability to communicate and be understood by whoever is listening to you. So the idea is to be able to speak and communicate your message to the other person, as long as you are understandable and as long as you make the attempt to improve yourself as you go along.
There are so many ways to improve our own English and keep a step ahead of our students. The important thing, according to Jitendra again, is to realize that you can do something about it. And if you can, find a good English speaker to guide you.
Knowledge is knowing that you don't know. So the teachers must realize that they are not good at that language. It's high time they started doing something about it. Find a local guru, a mentor, any teacher of English or anybody who speaks good English in your local area. And I'm sure every area has at least one such teacher.
Well, it may surprise you to know that Jitendra didn't speak any English until he left school. Now he works in education, and as you've heard, he's very fluent. What was his secret?
It was only during my undergraduate course that I started speaking. There was a teacher who spoke very good English, and she had faith in me. She said that, oh, you speak good English. That was like magic. I really started speaking that day. And then I believed that I could speak good English, and I started speaking.
So a teacher motivated him, a teacher who told him he was doing well and who spoke good English. It made all the difference. He used every possible source of English to upgrade his knowledge. So let's summarize the points we have heard today. If you want to improve and enrich your English and gain confidence to use it, then you need to practice regularly. So consider what will work for you. What opportunities have you got to do regular listening? Can you find other teachers of English to talk to? What books and magazines can you find to read? Could you do some regular writing, for example, keep a diary? Try practicing with friends and colleagues, and don't be afraid of making mistakes when you're trying to improve your fluency. You'll only get better at speaking if you keep on speaking. Can you work on your vocabulary? Have a dictionary ready to record and learn new words and expressions. And don't forget grammar and pronunciation. We'll talk about all these topics again in the series. I hope the ideas teachers have shared with us have been useful. I'm sure you can add plenty of your own. Next time, we look at using English in the classroom. So start thinking about the instructions that you give your students. For now, this is Manisha Dak signing off. Till next time, goodbye.